Welcome back to Bone Tomahawk Minute. Bone Tomahawk Minute is the fan podcast that chronicles and overanalyzes the classic 2015 film Bone Tomahawk minute by minute. And damn it, see, we start one of these new podcasts and I can't get it straight. It's Jurassic Park Minute. We go from Ghostbusters Minute to Jurassic Park Minute, and all of a sudden we're talking about Bone Tomahawk. It gets in my head. I loved Bone Tomahawk.
I wish I could get Bone Tomahawk out of my head.
Bone Tomahawk was amazing.
It's so good.
It bothered you, didn't it?
It did, man. That's the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I know that's going to make our listeners who haven't seen it be like, oh, a scary movie that really stuck with somebody. I got to go see it. Let me tell you right from the start, it's incredibly violent. Incredibly violent.
And so good at what it does with violence.
And so good at what it does with violence, but so much so. And I got a pretty strong stomach. I can take just about anything in movies, but when... I don't know, the way that the violence is presented and who it is enacted on and everything is just all too real and all too gruesome. I don't know.
It stuck with you.
It stuck with me. It's
like a bone tomahawk through the head.
I'm serious. You say 2015. We saw it in 2015, and here we are, like probably I don't know, maybe close to a year later or something like that. And that movie, I still can't shake it.
Still sticking with you, huh?
Yeah, but it's perfectly made movie. It's great.
It's a Western horror movie.
That's right.
About a group of troglodytes in the American West, which have invaded like a mining town or something like that, and are killing people. And there's a group that has to go out and hunt them. But it's unlike anything I've ever seen because you don't hear like cavemen versus cowboys type thing. But
seriously,
there's a very tenuous, very small connection to Jurassic Park, which is that Kurt Russell, the lead in it, was one of the original choices to play Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, correct?
Yeah.
And I think that would have been great because Kurt Russell just classes up anything.
Yeah, Kurt Russell definitely could have played a great Alan Grant. But
in Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
But this is Jurassic Park Minute, the film that chronicles and overanalyzes the classic 1993 film Jurassic Park minute by minute. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ray.
And we're here to bring you all the news about Bone Tomahawk and Jurassic Park and the connections between the two today. So, but hey, we got minute number 8 to get into today. You want to go ahead and jump on into that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. In the previous minute, we saw Alan Grant lecturing his team on the possibility that dinosaurs could have evolved into birds. He points out that the bone structure of most bipedal dinosaurs resembles that of a present-day bird more so than that of reptiles. Just as he is admiring this particular breed of dinosaur, a bratty child comes in, stating that it doesn't look very scary. Grant steps towards the brat to make an example of how a velociraptor would have hunted in its day. At 8 minutes 14 seconds, Ellie looks on as Grant moves in through his visual example. At 8 minutes 28 seconds, the brat sighs in boredom. At 8 minutes 35 seconds, Grant reveals that raptors work in coordinated attack patterns, stalking their prey into group formation. At 8 minutes 54 seconds, Grant pulls a giant raptor claw out of his pocket. The brat's eyes widen in fear. And thus ends minute number 8 of Jurassic Park. So we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but they're excavating and talking about velociraptors here, but the dinosaur we're actually seeing in the movie is a Deinonychus. And Deinonychus is much more closer in size to what you're seeing in the movie than a velociraptor would have been. A velociraptor probably would have come up to about your kneecap. Now, I'm not saying that thing couldn't mess you up, because it'd be like a little lynx, or a bobcat or something like that.
Yeah.
With that talon, it could eviscerate you and probably kill you, especially a group of them if they were pack hunters like Alan Grant's kind of proposing here. But Deinonychus is the dinosaur in the movie. So, folks, we know it. We're going to call them velociraptors. Please save your emails. But with anything else, do send us in an email. We'd love to hear your praise. So, now, velociraptors were found mostly in China, not in the United States. Velociraptors were part of the, oh God, are you ready? I'm going to really butcher this one. Dromaeosauridae family. Dromaeosauridae are bipedal creatures like the ones you see here in the movie. Raptors most likely had feathers. In September 2007, researchers found quill knobs on the forearm of a velociraptor found in Mongolia. These bumps on bird wing bones show where the feathers anchor, and the presence of velociraptor indicate that it too had feathers. So now the raptors in Jurassic Park are more of a featherless cross between a Deinonychus and something called a Utah raptor, which is pretty funny because this movie came out in 1993. Utah raptors were actually discovered in 1993 as they were shooting this movie.
I remember that. That was news, yeah.
Jurassic Park came out, and then they put everything together, and then they finally said, hey, here's another raptor that's come out. The Utah raptor, of course, for the name, was found in Utah, and it's much bigger than the Deinonychus velociraptors we see in Jurassic Park. Utah raptor stands, I think, something like 6 or 7 feet tall.
It was almost as though that was planned, that bit of news.
But it wasn't, which is crazy.
It wasn't. And like when Jurassic Park came out, I mean, obviously dinosaurs were everywhere.
Yeah.
This movie was like it took the world by storm.
It was a resurrection from the dead for dinosaurs almost,
sure.
if you will. Yeah.
But that came out like immediately. And it was just, oh man, it was I don't know, man. Suspicious.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was, but going back and reading this, they kind of they started to find the skeletal pieces as they were shooting the movie and putting them together, and then they saw these 5-foot tall velociraptors in the movie, and they were like, "Wait a minute, ours is actually this tall too." So great marketing stuff you can't write.
This scene does some really cool stuff when Grant is, basically putting us, the viewer. We are now in the bratty kid's place. Putting us kind of in the scene, taking us back to the prehistoric day, and we are now being hunted by these, pack hunting velociraptors who work in coordinated attack pattern with one another. And it's a great way to go ahead and introduce who our main antagonist of this film is going to be, and that's the velociraptor, and really start to scare us with it. This is also, we're, clearly the animal that did the attack that killed the gatekeeper in the opening scene or whatever. And here we are learning more about it. And I don't know, just really amping up the suspense. And, when are we going to get to see these things?
Yeah.
So,
I saw a movie recently, Suicide Squad, which a lot of us did, and I was a little bit disappointed because it took so long in its pacing to get all the information about who these different villains were out in these, almost 10-minute long sections that everybody got. So you got 10 minutes of Deadshot, you got 10 minutes of Harley Quinn, you got 10 minutes of Killer Croc, 10 minutes of El Diablo, all that stuff. And it really slowed down the pacing of the movie. That's kind of like a character info dump that is really done inorganically. This movie's organic. We're getting information about Dr. Alan Grant and information about the Velociraptors at the same time. He is presenting information about himself, how he doesn't like kids, how he's a very kind of grumpy man, but he's also talking about how awesome and majestic and to be feared these Velociraptors were.
Yeah, all at once.
Yeah.
And done perfectly. And it's not like a 10-minute info dump like you said Suicide Squad was doing.
Right, and he's foreshadowing later that, hey, these things could easily hunt a child. They could come up and eviscerate you and feast on you while you're alive. Later in the movie, we get two kids outsmarting these things, using their wits.
He's saying things to a kid like, bite your jugular like a lion, cutting you here across the, spilling your intestines. Some really gruesome stuff.
Right.
And so, like you were saying, showing just how much of a disdain he has for children and just how vicious these raptors that we're going to be coming face to face with later really are.
It's an organic way of producing those
absolutely.
things, yeah.
Now, he has the his little trusty raptor claw that he pulls out of his pocket, something that he just sort of takes with him everywhere.
Yeah.
And
he's holding it later on the plane.
That's right. And then, later on in the movie when he's just kind of coming through with his character arc, ditches it.
He doesn't need it anymore.
He doesn't need it anymore.
Raptors are real.
But I'll tell you who did need one when he was 8 years old was me, Freddie Crane, and I got one. There was a store in the mall, the old mall, called Natural Wonders. Do you remember Natural Wonders?
I remember Natural Wonders. You could get a rain stick or, some incense and a shirt with a Celtic cross on it. Yeah, Natural Wonders.
Natural Wonders, right? And but they also sold world music and then just sounds of nature. It just, I don't know.
3D posters, they had those too. Those were big around this time too.
Cool.
I've never been able to see one. Yeah.
Different kinds of precious stone. I don't know. It was a really cool store, but
it was cool, yeah.
But they also kind of cashed in on the Jurassic Park dinosaur craze when this movie came out, and one of the things that they sold there was a raptor claw. And obviously, not a real thing, but I remember I had one.
But it was probably in the mold of a raptor claw, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked just like the one he had. And I remember getting one and bringing it to school and showing a few buddies of mine. One of those little bastards had one too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where did he get it?
Yeah, right.
Natural Wonders?
No, he probably said Natural Wonders, and I said, well, dude, I got this, from a dig site I was on last
my
summer.
uncle is
my
a paleontologist.
So
he fights Nazis by night and digs up dinosaurs by morning.
That guy.
Bed supermodels, yeah.
So that's it. Everybody had to have one of those, and that was just one example of how this movie was infiltrating everything. Yeah. Everything. And that's all I have for this minute.
Awesome. That's all I have for this minute as well. So folks, join us back again tomorrow for minute number 9 on a Friday. We're going to have one of our fun Friday episodes and go over a little bit more about Alan Grant and if raptors or Deinonychus were actually pack hunters. I found some information on that. So, all right, Brady, ready to get out of here?
Let's go.
All right, I'm Kyle.
I'm Brady.
And until next time, hold on to your butts.
Jurassic Park Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the podcast, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can contact us at JurassicParkMinute@gmail.com and visit us online at JurassicParkMinute.com, Facebook.com/JurassicParkMinute, and Twitter.com/JurassicMinute.